Straight Talk with your host, Reggie B. Come on, let's all join in. Free your voice, it's your choice, alright here. Oh, Simply Straight Talk.
Welcome back to the Simply Straight Talk Show, where the conversations are all about real-life situations. Speaking of real-life situations, have you ever been in a relationship with someone who felt that they needed to change some things about you? Well, you're not the first person to feel this way. Today, we will discuss the reasons some people feel this way, and are their reasons valid?
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Simply Straight Talk Show. This is your host, Reggie. And today we're going to be talking about the things that people say need to change when they get into a relationship with somebody. Now, we all know that in life, everybody's going to grow and change in some way. But what happens when you're dating somebody and everything seems fine? Then once you get into a serious relationship, a couple months in, they're like, you know what? You need to change this. You got to stop doing this. I don't think I can deal with that. The question, more real question to me is, well, why didn't you say this in the beginning? If you felt this way, that things needed to change or there were things you didn't like. But I think another question that needs to be asked is, what is appropriate to ask a person to change about themselves when they're in a relationship with somebody? Now, certain things are just common sense. It really is. If you've been single and you get into a relationship, then yeah, you automatically know you can't be hanging out with your old girlfriends. You can't be doing all the flirting and disrespectful stuff. We got that. You can't be calling your old boyfriends going to hang out. You know what I'm saying? All that type stuff, not cool. Not cool at all. So there are things that should come with common sense that once you get into a relationship, it has to change. Like I said, you can't have your old boyfriend calling you at 10 o'clock at night, talking about he just want to talk and chit chat, and you sit there, he and her on with him on the phone. But you're in a relationship with somebody else. That's suspect. That's a whole nother show. But we're talking about when people get into a relationship and all of a sudden a person says, I need you to change this. I'm not liking this. But your natural mindset is going to go back to the fact that, listen, I've been doing this since we first started dating. For example, if you go to the club, you meet this person in the club, and when you guys are getting to know each other, I'm pretty sure it's like, hey, do you like the clubs? And that person like, yeah, I enjoy going to the clubs. I like to dance, some cool people. A lot of my friends come, so it's something they like. But when you get into a relationship, you're now saying, no, you got to stop going to the clubs, no more clubs. Is that fair to ask? If you got a guy that likes to hang with the guys playing basketball, he may go play basketball, then they go grab something to eat, and he comes home. Should he stop doing that? You might have a lady. She goes and drinks with the girls. Should she stop doing that? You might have one person who's really social, and the other person is a homebody. Should each person be told to stop what they're doing? Like, listen, you can't stay at home anymore, or you're too social, stop being social, So what is it? What is the fair thing to ask somebody? But you considering also that you got to be respectful. You got to be respectful about this is something that a person enjoys. I knew about this. Is it fair for me to ask them to change? Or am I asking them to change for myself, for the betterment of the relationship? Or am I asking them to change because I'm insecure about something that I don't feel comfortable with? Or I don't feel like I can be a part of it. If I can't be a part of it, then why are they doing it? It's not including me. So that needs to be eliminated. So it's a lot of things that can kind of play into the reasons a person may ask somebody to change some things about themselves. Because if you saw something in somebody, let's just say you go to work, and the lady sees this guy, and maybe this guy is a little bit more fit. You know what I'm saying? He's a little bit more, or he might wear a certain type suit. You know what I'm saying? He might wear double-breasted suits. And she's like, wow, that's really attractive, a guy who wears a suit like that. So when she comes home, she was like, hey, I think we need to go see, you ought to try on like a double-breasted suit. The next time y'all go shopping, she's trying to get you to wear these double-breasted suits. And you like, why? I don't like double-breasted suits. But she likes them. But she liked it on the guy. And that's another thing. Just because a person sees something it doesn't necessarily mean they're attracted to that person. Sometimes they just like the look, just the look. So, because I don't want to put it out there that every time somebody sees somebody else, they're attracted to them. But it might be the case on occasions. But for this show, we're going to say that they just like the style, okay? So they like the style. So they come home and tell their husband, hey, I think you will look good in this. Now, to flip that around, if a man sees something on a woman and comes home and say, hey, I think you will look good in this. And she says, well, where did you see that at? Oh, well, I saw this lady walking and she had it on and I thought it was a nice outfit and I just pictured you. So sometimes you can see something on somebody and you think it's attractive and you might want to see it on your mate. So I think, is that a fair request to kind of have somebody change or update their dress style? Now, if you're somebody like me, I'm not a fashion guru. So if I had a woman who did that, I would appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? If she was like, hey, I think this style is cool, as long as she's attracted to the style, you know what I'm saying? So, but that goes into the fact of when you are in a relationship and you're asking somebody to change, are you being upfront with that person when you first started dating about exactly what you're looking for? If you're a guy that likes a woman with long hair, then fine. Are you looking for a woman with long hair? Because if you're dating a lady and she cuts her hair short, it doesn't change who she is. It doesn't change the person that you're with. It just means that she wanted a shorter hairstyle. And women do that. Sometimes they get tired of trying to maintain that long hair, because we pay $20 for a haircut. They pay $150. So, hey, but the thing about it is, are you upfront with the person you're with about what you truly want, what you truly are looking for? Or are you just saying, well, since I'm trying to get with you, you know what I'm saying? Or, since you're trying to talk to me, I'm going to go ahead and agree with what you're saying because this could be a potential good fit for me. But you're not telling that person. But then again, later on down the line, all of a sudden, everything that you kind of felt like about, you wasn't sure about, now all of a sudden, you're expecting this person to be okay with all of these changes or the changes that you're requesting of them. And they're looking at you like, well, I've always been like this. Why are you asking me to change? What's the purpose of this? And so that's why I say when I say the purpose, I'm asking, are you asking your mate to change for the benefit of the relationship? Is the change you're requesting going to improve the relationship? Is it something that you really need for the relationship to succeed? Or are you just making a shallow request? Like what you're asking them to do is not going to impact the relationship in a positive way. Are you asking for something that's going to end up creating, some type of resentment? Because you may be asking them to give up something that they feel really is a part of them. Now, this is going to sound kind of sad, but the one time that I really noticed that people actually say what they really feel and want in a relationship is when they get into an argument. And I have heard people do this to where they will actually say, well, I never liked that about you. I never liked this about you. So, and it's like, that's kind of the most hurtful thing to say. Because sometimes a person may be saying it to hurt you, but I honestly believe that when people are angry, it's not always they saying stuff just to hurt you. They saying what they really feel. They've just reached a point in the situation to where they're just kind of like, listen, I don't even care no more. I'm going to tell you the truth. So a lot of people, when they get in arguments, they really do say what they feel at that time. And they will tell that person that I never liked this about you. I never liked that about you. So it's like, so what do we need to do? Do we need to have arguments before we get into the relationship? Like have just one big argument, man. Just one big argument with your girl. And then y'all just get it all out there. And then you can be like, oh, I didn't know you felt like that. Or if they don't have nothing to say, like, I didn't know why we arguing. I like everything about you. Then y'all know y'all good. But anyway, don't do that. Please don't try that because it may not go that way. But the thing about it is, when people are holding back on what they really want and overlooking things, kind of saying like, oh, well, let me see how it work out, or let me just see, I can fix it later. That's the bad thing and a big mistake that people make. Because oftentimes what you're thinking is something small you can change about a person. The other person is like, you know what? No, I ain't seeing it that way. I don't think I need to change that. But here's what you need to change. So when you are asking somebody to change things about themselves in a relationship, have you really sat down and thought about what you're asking them to change? And what is the real objective you're trying to get out of them changing from this situation? Like I said earlier, are you asking them to change things for the betterment of the relationship? Are you asking them to change things that's going to help them grow as a person? Or are you just feeling insecure? Are you just feeling left out? Or are you just feeling like, if I can't be a part of it, then it's not beneficial to him. And if it's not beneficial to me, then it's not beneficial to him. So how are you picturing that? Because a lot of people really do get in relationships and they really feel like it's their responsibility to change this person and mold them into something. Because a lot of us, before we get into a relationship, let me tell you this. When I was younger, this is like when I was back in not high school, this was before high school. I say junior high school, round about junior high school. When I was in junior high school, I could tell you the woman I was going to marry. Now, I think I mentioned this before, but I already knew that the woman I was going to marry was going to have long hair down to her shoulders. She's going to have that caramel complexion. She was going to be Puerto Rican, going to have them green eyes. I knew it. I could describe her. She had that beautiful accent. Man, let me tell you, when I grew up and learned that relationships and marriage and who you meet does not work like who you envision, it's a sad awakening, boy. I'm telling you. But the truth is, that's if you would have asked me that when I was in junior high school. I knew all that already. I never married anything close to that. Nothing close to that. I never even met anybody close to that. So the thing about it is, you might have an idea or a picture in your head of how or who you was going to be with, how that person was going to act, how they was going to treat you, how they was going to look. But in reality, when you meet somebody, they don't meet those characteristics. They don't meet those personality traits. So subconsciously, you may be trying to maneuver the person you're with to fit what you imagine. It's kind of like you got Clark Kent and you got Superman. And a lot of women see Superman. So what they do is they don't really picture Clark Kent. They picture the Superman, the powerful one, the one that's actually, notarized. He's got status. People look up to him. To be with Superman would be like your platform got elevated too. And it's the same thing for men. Men are the same way. We envision different people. We might see Wonder Woman, out there doing her thing. But then again, we might end up settling for, but when you come to Diana, just the average woman, So it's all about what you're picturing in your mind, what you believe you wanted versus what you actually need. And are you getting what you need? But are you risking throwing away the things you need because you have what you need in your relationship to be successful? But are you trying to change the things that are beneficial in order to get the things that you want that's not going to be beneficial? Think about that man or woman that you're with. Are they giving you what you need, but you want something that's just pretty much a comic book story? Well, stay tuned because we're going to find out, because we're actually going to go a little bit further and discuss some things that you can change that will better your relationship. What are some things you should just leave alone because you're actually going to probably end up hurting your relationship? You guys stay tuned. We'll be right back.
We'll be back with your host, Reggie, on Simply Straight Talk.
Hey, are you looking for some great music, upbeat and with a positive voice? Well, the song I Stand With You is exactly what you need. This timeless song has a pop version sung by Audrey Carmel.
Always look for the breeze.
and a reggae version sung by General Steele, now known as Revelation.
Now I know some days you may feel blue, Lord. Trust in your greatness to see you through.
These songs are now available on iTunes and other digital platforms for download. Don't miss out. Get your copy today.
Give life your best, and I know.
Free your mind, free your voice right here on Simply Straight Talk.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the Simply Straight Talk show. This is the second segment of the show. And today we're talking about what is it that make people decide that there's something about their mate that needs to change? You're in a relationship. You've dated this person before you got serious. So depending on how long you dated, which is a factor we need to consider also, are the things that come up that you decide that that person needs to change in the relationship that you knew about before you became serious, before your relationship became official, that you just said, you know what, I'm going to let it slide for now. So is it fair to go on later down the road and say, hey, I need you to change these things. I never liked these things, but I thought you would change and just know what I liked. Is that fair? And is it fair to give a person an ultimatum? Change these or we can't be together. Because sometimes, you know, we get into a relationship, we enjoying the euphoric moment of the first dating. You know, you're going out, you appear to be having fun. And one of my biggest things about dating today is that there's not much conversation. And when I say not much conversation, I'm talking about the real conversations that people need to be having. You know, because when you date, a lot of people, you go to the movies, you go to concerts, you go to comedy shows. My point is you're going to places to where you really can't sit down and talk. And I always tell people, you know, if you're serious about getting to know somebody, your first 7 to 8 dates, it needs to be in a place where you sit down and you're looking each other face to face, eye to eye, and you're talking. No other friends, just the two of you. Because that's going to tell you a lot. If you can go on 8 dates and you can spend 2 hours in continuous conversation and just talking to each other about each other, learning about each other's life, then that tells you that, okay, you know, we've been on all these dates and the conversation just keeps going. It doesn't stop. Now, if you go on the first date and after about 30 minutes, y'all kind of sitting there looking at your plates or staring at the tea or trying to start up a conversation with the waitress or the people in the booth behind you, that might be a sign that that's not a good fit. You know, or if you get like 4 days in and all of a sudden you start to realize like, man, the conversations are dwindling. We don't really have much to talk about. You know, it's just kind of like, I'm going through the motions. It's a trial and test thing. It kind of lets you know like, hey, we're going to give this a trial area. We're going to test it to see what comes from it. If it works, it's good. If it doesn't, no hard feelings. You know, I might have made a friend, but for right now, you know, if we can't conversate, then where can we go from here? But what are some things that you can ask a person to change for the better in a relationship? Now, I have a couple of things that I think will be fair if a woman came to me and said, listen, you know, these are the things I would like for us to change or like, you know, want to see us do better with, because it should be us, not you, not me, but us is how it should be. But if a man or woman tells their mate, hey, I think we need a healthier lifestyle because I want to live a long time to be with you. I want us to have a lot of life together. You know, I want you to be healthy. I want to be healthy. So I think we need to start eating better. I think we need to start working out, even if it's just going for walks. I want us to have a healthier lifestyle because I enjoy being with you. I love you and I want it to last as long as we possibly can that God has us on this earth. So if they're asking for a healthier lifestyle, that's a good thing. I think that is extremely fair to ask. Now, if you're dating someone and they got an anger problem, they got a violent temper, they're rude, they use excessive vulgar language, then yeah, I think it's fair to ask that person, listen, you know, I'm concerned about this. You know, you get really angry or, you know, your temper is really violent or you're really rude and mean to people or, you know, you use excessive vulgar language, somebody who drinks all the time. Because I'll tell you, like with me, If I'm with somebody and every time we're together, they have to have a drink, that doesn't sit too well with me. It doesn't bowl too good with me, because it's just something about somebody that every time they're with you, they got to have a drink, or every time you're together, they got to have other people around. They can't just be with you. So if you got those situations going on where the person is angry, got a bad temper, they're just rude for no reason, excessive vulgar language, especially if you got kids, then yeah, I think it's fair to ask that person, listen, I think these are some things that need to change. Because, don't, especially you got somebody with a bad temper and they're violent, please. If they can't change and you ask them, and don't even wait, sometimes you just need to bail because it's your life could be in danger. So, and the other thing is hygiene and cleanliness. Now, these are things you should know about a person before you really get into the relationship. But if you notice a person has bad hygiene, you don't be bad if they ask you to change. Your breath stink. Brush your teeth. Take a bath. Because sometimes when you're single, you got that single life mentality. I ain't going home to nobody. Ain't nobody coming over. So that's fair to ask somebody to change those things. Now, what are some things that may not be fair to ask someone to change? And I think one thing is the physical appearance. If you see you're dating somebody that's overweight, or you have a woman and she may not be, she may not be a 36, so you're saying you all want a woman with bigger boobs. Is it fair to ask her that? Does bigger boobs gonna make her a better woman? If she's a great woman and she's I don't know breast sizes. If she's a size a B or A or whatever, if she has a smaller size boobs, that doesn't change who she is. She's a good woman. She's got your back. She's ride or die. Baby, stay who you are. I'm with you. I don't need you to change your physical appearance. Ladies, ladies, if you're dating a guy, he's a little bit overweight. Yeah, you can say, hey, I want you to be healthier. Let's kind of watch what we're doing. But don't try to change everything about him because you want him to be a muscle-bound man. Or all your friends are dating these workout guys who bench press all this weight and wear spandex and all this stuff. I don't think that's fair to do that, to ask a person to change their appearance just to suit what you see on somebody else, especially when it involves surgery and all that stuff. No. The relationship with their families. This is, like I said, something you need to talk about. If they have a close relationship with their family, is it fair for you to say, what, you're too close to your family? Now, you might be able to say, hey, I prefer some of our personal business stay with us, but you can't ask a lady like, hey, me and my sister are close and every Friday we go do this, or I watch her kids. You can't tell her, not to interact with her sister or don't have that relationship. Come on, let's be real. It's not fair to ask somebody to quit their hobbies. Now, I think it's fair to ask them to have a balance. If you got somebody like, you may have a girl that's a singer, a husband that's in a band, or somebody that's, they like playing basketball, or somebody that likes doing art or painting or something like that. I don't think it's fair to ask them to quit that or to stop doing it. But I do think it's fair to say, listen, if you're working 40 hours a week, then you're spending another 30 hours with this hobby, then yeah, you might want to say, hey, listen, I think it's fair. You can't ask them to quit, but just ask them, hey, we need some balance. We need some balance in that. And the other thing is asking a person to change their personality. Our personality is who a person is. Now, we don't like everybody's personality. I know some people who I think their personality is just, oh my God, atrocious. But that's their personality. That's who they are. You knew that when they met them. If they told crude humor jokes, that's who they are. They tell crude humor jokes. If that person is an introvert, then, you can't expect them to go out here and be running around, be the life of the party. That's not who they are. If they're an extrovert, you can't expect them just to be sitting around, all day. They're going to want to be social. Extroverts are social. So you can't tell them stop being social. That's their personality. So you can't ask somebody to change their personality, who they are. Now you can ask them to maybe be a little bit more flexible and maybe attending some things. Like, I'm an introvert, but if I dated somebody who was an extrovert and she liked to go to social gatherings, maybe for her job or, formal events, I would still go. But I would expect that, we're not going to be there till 2, 3 in the morning. We would just I would prefer to know when she's uncomfortable and she learns like, okay, you know what? His people meter is running low. So I think it's time for us to go. But I would make an effort to make sure that she is comfortable and she enjoys the things she do. I would never make her feel like, oh my God, I want to be here. I hate it. That's wrong. So you just have to learn how to balance it. You have to learn how to communicate and understand each other's personality. You don't change a person's personality, but you do have to make some compromises to where you learn. Okay, if we're going to this social gathering and my mate is an introvert, I know the timeline that we can be here. You know, if 2 hours is good, hey, we're going to do 2 hours. Then me and my mate, we're going home. You know, and sometimes the introvert might be like, listen, you know, my mate loves these gatherings. This is a big night for her or him. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to stick this out. I'm going to smile. I'm going to enjoy it because I want her to have this night. So instead of the 2 hours when we normally leave, we're going to be here for 3.5 hours, 4 hours. You do stuff like that because you care about the person. All right, everybody, we're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back for the final thoughts of today's show.
Don't even think about it. We got more straight talk just for you.
All right, Simply Straight Talk family. We want to return the love you have shown us back to you. Reggie will be giving away great prizes during certain Simply Straight Talk podcast shows, so make sure you subscribe and listen to the show for your chance to win. Just imagine being able to take 4 people to the movies, a free night in a hotel, a gift card with cash for a restaurant, or one of our Simply Straight Talk podcast shirts. There will be other prizes as well. For more information, visit our website at www.rmviaging.com and click on Simply Straight Talk Podcast in the menu.
We're back with the conversation starter and the voice that works harder. Your host, Reggie.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the final segment of the show. And today we are talking about the things that you might want to change about your mate. And if so, why? You know what? I think everybody goes into a relationship hoping for the best. I think everybody has an idea of what their mate would be like. What is the perfect person for them? But do you really know what you want? And I think you do. But the real question is, do you really know what you need in a mate? And the only way to know what you need from someone you bring in your life is by knowing yourself. And many of us get into relationships, we don't really know who we are, but we're expecting somebody else to be someone that we imagine or put together over time by viewing certain people, certain individuals. And we sort of, built this imaginary person in our mind and framed it and said, I have to find somebody who can fit the figure that I have in this frame. Be it a man or woman, they have to fit this figure. And when you get somebody that you feel like is kind of close, then you start saying, okay, well, I got the legs to fit. I got the head to fit. Now I got to work with the arms and the chest. So I got to start maneuvering and changing things to get it to fit all in there. And by the time you do all that, most likely you've either probably built up some resentment and a lot of arguments have taken place. A lot of frustrations have taken place because you're trying to create something that you created in your mind. And you still have not figured out what you really need in a relationship. You're trying to build somebody to be what you want. We can't change people. And it's not fair to change people, especially if you're asking them to change something about themselves that really is not going to help the relationship in the long run. There's a big difference in telling somebody, listen, you drink way too much. You stay gone all the time. I never get to see you. The kids never get to see you. That's a big difference in saying, hey, I need you to be home more. I need you to be more active. I need you to be the wife in this household, or I need you to be the man in this household. That's a change that's saying, I want you as a part of this relationship. That's a change that's saying, I want what's going to make this relationship work for the both of us. Telling somebody that I want you to have bigger boobs, or telling somebody I want you to have bigger muscles. Is that really going to make a difference in a relationship? Is it going to change who that person is? Telling that person that, look, I think you're too big. This person's husband has muscles, or this person's wife has a six pack. I like that. Yeah, but you don't know what that person is dealing with who's married to that person. You got somebody good who cares about you, who wants to be with you. And a lot of people will probably initially say, you know what? If this is what you like, I'm going to do it. I don't care if your hair is long or short. If you treat me like I deserve to be treated, if you make me feel good, you make me feel comfortable, you're faithful, you're loyal, you're a partner that is committed to me. If you want your hair long, let it grow long. If you want your hair short, let it go short. It doesn't matter, baby, because I'm coming home to you regardless of how long or short your hair is, because you are my partner. You are giving me what I need. The stuff that I want, is that going to make a difference in the relationship? Is that really a bigger factor than what you're giving me to exist? Is that what makes me truly love you? What is it that made me fall in love with you? What is it that made me just miss you? You got to remember those things, because when you start remembering those things and you start looking at other things, the biggest mistake you're going to make is losing the one person that you're with, because you're pursuing an imaginary person that does not exist, that you created in your head and that you never met. Because what you got is a blend of different things you have seen on TV, maybe seen from other people maybe seen in other relationships, and you're trying to put all that into one picture frame, and it doesn't fit. Make sure if you got somebody good, accept them for who they are. If it's not harming you, if they are taking care of you, they are committed, they are loyal, they are faithful, hold on to that. Don't lose a good thing for something that doesn't exist. Hey, this is the Simply Straight Talk Show. I hope you guys have enjoyed the show. Please join us here next Friday for another great conversation. I love you guys. I appreciate you for being here. And I promise you, I'm going to get back to the Instagram questions. I'm going to get back to doing the shows. I know we got a lot of people asking questions out there. And right after this, we're going to have a little meet and greet. And I will see you guys next week.
Thank you for tuning in to today's show. Be sure to subscribe for more motivational topics based on real-life conversations, and don't forget to rate, review, and share our show so we can continue to bring you the best in real-life conversations. Join us next week right here on Simply Straight Talk.